Okay, well, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us this evening for our Pacesetters class. I'm so excited to talk to you all. What I want to cover with you tonight is all about overcoming objections on three different areas: selling the product, booking parties, and also talking to people about the business. And so what I want to talk about just really to set the tone for overcoming objections when is for you to understand what is your purpose. When you understand what your purpose is and where you come from as you're presenting both the product, or all three, the product, the booking opportunity, and also the company career opportunity, when you understand your purpose and the standpoint that you're coming from, then everything that you do it just seems to flow a lot better. So understand where you're coming from first. And so by that, let me talk about some examples here. I have just tonight I made a couple of phone calls and I made a couple new bookings. So that was kind of fun. And I'm going to talk about just specifically who I booked, because then I can teach you from a perspective of how I did that. So one of the people that I booked was somebody that I met last week when I was coming out of Best Buy. That was one of the things I mentioned. I was there dealing with some of the technical issues with the computer, and on my way out there was a cute girl and she just smiled at me, and I said, you know what, you've got a great smile, I would love to give you my card. And I gave her my card and said, I would love to get your opinion of this product. Have you ever tried it? She said, no. Sounds fun. And so I had sent her a text a couple of other times, and just because she said call in the morning, and when I had the time available to contact her, it was evening, so I think I left a message and I followed up with a text one night, and I didn't hear back from her. So today I had time again this evening, and I made the phone call tonight and just said, oh my gosh, I was hoping you would answer. She did. She's coming Monday night and she's bringing some friends with her. So that was an easy one, easy peasy, right? But if I hadn't called, I wouldn't have had her booked. The second person that I called tonight that answered, I called 15 people today, and only 3 answered the phone. So that kind of gives you an idea that sometimes we just have to call a lot to get those bookings. The second one that I called was actually at a volleyball game, so she couldn't really talk. She didn't know her schedule. But here's what happened. The first time when I called her, the phone rang just one time and then it disconnected. It went dead. And she's somebody I've been working with to get her booked. And I could have told myself a story. Oh my gosh, she saw it was me, she hung up on me, whatever. But I didn't go there. I'm like, oh, you know what, that was probably an accident. And I called her right back. Because sometimes, have you ever had that for yourself when you try to make a phone call or try to pick up a phone call, and when you try to answer, you actually accidentally hang up on the person? So I assumed that it was an accident when Molly did that. So I called her right back, and sure enough, it was an accident. She was actually at a volleyball game, and she said, yeah, I do want to do this, but I just don't know what my schedule is for next week. So that was the second one. The third person that I booked tonight was, actually I booked 4. One other one that I booked was somebody who's been a long-time customer. I met her about a year ago. She bought the botanical system, and she's interested in the business but didn't sign up at the time. And then she got married, and she had an illness, and she's starting a new job. And I am friends with her on Facebook, so I know all of this because I'm connected to her through Facebook, which is just another really great tip on connecting with your clientele. Make sure you send them a friend request on Facebook and connect with them friend to friend, so that then when you see all these things going on in their life and you can call them like I did today and like, Nikki, congratulations on the new job. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. And then just to, you know, how are things with your Mary Kay business or with your Mary Kay products? Are you needing refills? Or she's like, you know what, my budget is really skinny right now because she doesn't start her new job till Monday. So I said, you know what, I would just really love to pamper you and show you what's new. Are you up for that? And she said, yeah, that would be great. So I booked her for the 9th of July. So that's coming up. So I'm excited about that. But Nikki is somebody that I've been courting and talking with and, you know, following up with because I like her. I've been following up with her for a long time, for about 9 months now, with all the life situations that she's been dealing with, and I'm going to continue to follow up with her until I can get back together with her. So make sure that you, if you're going to tell yourself a story, tell yourself the story that they really like you and they can't wait to get together with you. So make sure you're following, follow up to get back together with people to get those bookings. The last thing that I'm going to just talk about with regard to purpose. Remember, I said at the top of the message that my focus tonight is helping you overcoming objections. And when you approach the objection or the concern or whatever you're getting from somebody, when you approach it from a perspective of you know what your purpose is with the business and that you truly want to make a difference in the lives of other people, when you're approaching it from that perspective, then when you get a concern or whatever, then it's just a lot easier. So this is one of the other philosophies that I have with my Mary Kay business is that I am going to choose to be obedient to whatever is placed in front of me. And this is what I mean by that. This is the exact, for instance, it's about 2 weeks ago actually, my sister Mary, I sent out a bunch of text messages to clients. How are you doing on your products? Do you need refills on anything? And Mary ordered one black eyeliner. She lives about 15 minutes away from me, where we live. So, you know, it's not a convenient drive to drive 15 minutes one way to deliver a black eyeliner. Yes, she's my sister, but I could easily have said to myself, you know, I'll see her, you know, sometime in the next week or two. It's just my sister. It probably doesn't matter that much that I deliver this one eyeliner for what, a $6 profit. But instead, I thought, this is what God has given me. This is the talent. Looking at the parables of the talents, that God said, I've given you this many and I'm going to put you in charge of this many more. So he gave me this talent, this gift, this sale of a $12 sale for an eyeliner. And I went out of my way that day to stop at her office to deliver it to her. And while I was there, the lady that cleans her office said, oh, Mary Kay, oh my gosh. Just 2 days ago, I said, I have got to find a Mary Kay consultant so I can get some extra emollient night cream. I said, I have that. And she said, great. And I said, well, can I get your name and number? And she wrote it down and handed it to me. I followed up with her, and instead of just getting her the extra emollient night cream, I said, would you like to see the new Mary Kay line? I'd love to pamper you. Would you be willing to get together with me and just tell me what you think? And she said, yeah, that would be great. Now, this lady, when she speaks, she talks in a whisper. That's it. And I said, do you have laryngitis? And she said, no. And when she left that day, she said that my sister said, no, she can't talk. And so... And I didn't ever get any details from her about why that was, but I got a follow-up from, I scheduled the appointment for the lady, with the lady, so it was, then she came the following Friday for her makeover. When she came in that day, I got to know her just briefly, and she said that she had been a victim of a horrible domestic violence incident. Her ex-husband actually shot her 4 times, and she speaks with a whisper for the rest of her life. And she is an advocate for against domestic violence, and she speaks in front of police commissions and whatever. She was on the Council on Sexual Assault and Domestic Violence. So she's really very active in speaking out against that. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you're here, because my niece, I mentioned on a previous call a couple of weeks ago that I had just found out that my niece had been living in a horribly violent situation for the last 4 years, and we had no idea. She's a strong girl and or lady woman. She's 40 years old, and she's a registered nurse. She's just so joyful and amazing. You would never think that it was happening to her, but sure enough it was. So Allison, my niece, was on her way to my house that day. She helps me out around the house sometimes and with the office and things. So Allison and Cheryl, the lady, sat at my dining room table and talked for 30 minutes one day. And Cheryl told Allison her story, and Allison was able to share some of the things that had happened to her, and Cheryl was such an encouragement to her, and that's exactly what Allison said. Oh my gosh, you are my inspiration today. Thank you so much. It was a joy to meet you, and it was really an encouragement. You're a neat lady, and thank you so much. You really helped me a lot. So the paycheck of the heart that came that day was over the top. If she wouldn't have bought anything, the paycheck of the heart would have been so worth it. And then she went on to, then also in addition to that, she bought almost $300 worth of Mary Kay that day. So that was Cheryl. How cool is that? So that was an extra night cream sale. That was just an extra night cream that was going to come from just a black eyeliner. So just a black eyeliner turned into a $300 sale, and she was able to minister to my niece in such a huge, huge way. So I think that's pretty amazing. The other story that I would love to share just quick is one that just happened the other day, and that was my niece Jenny referred me to somebody. She said a friend of hers needed some Mary Kay, and she was looking for a new Mary Kay consultant because she wasn't able to, had lost contact with her previous person, and she was specifically looking for targeted action toning lotion and the firming eye cream. Well, I, again, went out of my, and this is a lady from Louisiana, I specifically went out of my way to connect with Sharon and had a conversation with her, just over the phone. Tell me about yourself and what are you looking for? And she said she's 56 years old and has some lines and wrinkles and really wants some help in those areas. So I said, well, tell me, and I told her a little bit about the ValueFirm repair collection, and she said, oh, that sounds like what I need. So her sale, the same thing. Her sale went from 2 items, which would have been probably around $50 or $60, to a $300 sale by the time we were done talking and I sent that out. So amazing how if you just do the and then some and ask questions and find out what the need is, then you're going to be blessed in a big, big way. So I see we have some people that have logged on, and I would love some feedback from you. If you're able to enter questions on the side, please tell me what your questions are, or message me somehow. I'm also curious just to make sure that the audio is working this week because we had some issues with that last week. So if you could give me some feedback, that would be great. Thanks. Okay, let's move on to talk a little bit more about overcoming objections. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is, Mary Kay always talks about in the chain of command, to book parties first. You're going to book the appointment to get together with the person. The second thing is that you're going to be selling. And then the third thing is that you're going to be sharing company information. So booking first, that's the first thing. And I think that when you can make a heart-to-heart connection with people, that's really, really critical. That's the first and most important step, a heart connection. Find out what it is that they want out of the business, why they want it. That's absolutely just the most important. Pardon me. The second thing that you're going to want to find out is when you're finding out when you're going to be booking them, you want to have something exciting that you're going to offer to them. So you obviously have the Mary Kay makeover, which is the skincare, the color, pampering. Find out really what it is about the business that you love, really tap into that, and then sell other people on that. So when I tell people that I'm going to be doing a makeover, then my whole thing is really just to talk to them about I want to know what it is that they want out of it. If they're looking for something more for skincare, or if they want more advanced color, I want to know what it is that they want out of it. And then typically you're going to get, with regard to bookings, you're going to get a couple of objections. I don't have time. I don't know where I would do it, and sometimes people will say that they don't even want to do it until they know that they can buy some things. So there's some different things that you can cover with those. So time, number one, that's the first thing that I always say is, so when are you the least busy? So that really helps me out a lot. It helps them out to, instead of thinking and focusing on I'm so busy, I'm so busy, I'm so busy, then if you shift that around and just look at it from the other side and say, well, when are you the least busy, then you get a better feedback and a perspective that way. The second thing that you're going to do is you're going to ask them about, so when are you the least busy? That's the first thing. The second thing is that you'll say to them, when they say I don't know where I would do it, I always offer to hold it at my house instead of at theirs, so that really helps. And I just tell them how fun it's going to be because it's a studio kind of an environment, and it's just really fun and relaxing, and that they get to be pampered. And I offer something free for them as well, so that helps just to have an incentive for them when they come in. That's really key. And the third thing that I would recommend that you always consider when you're talking to them about bookings is when would you like to do it, and when you would do it, would you like to share it with a couple of girlfriends? Let me know if that works for what works best for you on that. Okay, so bookings, always just understanding what you're offering and feel good about what you're offering so that you feel empowered and that you're really offering something valuable to them. The third thing, or sorry, then we're going to go on to talk a little bit about the selling objections, because that's another thing that when you get to the end of the Mary Kay party, then a lot of times you'll get the, oh, I couldn't possibly buy that because whatever. You'll hear it's outside of my budget, and so then what you want to ask is, what are you comfortable to take home with you today? That really helps. Also, as you're going through the party, if you'll talk to them about the value of the Mary Kay product line, there's some basic objections, and they haven't changed in 53 years from the minute our business opened, from when Mary Kay started the company to now, up till now. The objections that we get are the same ones that have been around for all that amount of time. So definitely review on the Silver Wing Scholar Program on the Mary Kay website. Definitely review overcoming objections there, because you're going to get the same objections every single time, and the answers today are the same. So help them understand and find a way to afford it. Most of the time when people will give you an objection for buying, if you'll say, what are you comfortable to take home with you? What does fit with your budget? Or if I could help you find a way to afford it, is this something that you would like to use or that you would enjoy using? And if they say yes, then that's the next step, to figure out a way that you can help them. So you might help them with a payment plan. If you have a fully stocked business for inventory, then you can offer a payment plan, and you'll want to talk with me about ways to do that. If you don't have a full inventory, then I'm going to recommend that you don't offer payment plans, because you need the cash flow, the immediate turnaround cash flow, to be able to replace those products and build up your inventory. And if you have products out on a payment plan, then you're not going to be able to get those products back to you right away, or you won't be able to reorder them right away. So you can offer a payment plan, possibly. Otherwise, just again, throughout the party, talking to them about, look at how little you used, and the skincare will typically last you about 4 to 6 months. So when you break it down, this is only about 50 cents a day for you to use it. I mean, we spend $5 a day on coffee, and we don't think anything of that. So make sure that they understand the value and how long it's going to last. Sometimes people will say, I need to use up my other brand, whatever other brand is. Sometimes they'll say that, and yet all the way through the party they've been talking about how what they have doesn't work, that they just have this blotchiness or dryness or wrinkles, and what they're using now is not. And like, oh my gosh, look at how great my face looks right now. I just did a makeover earlier today with a girl who has really large pores, and she was so amazed at the way her skin looked when we were done. And so that was what she was impressed with. She could see the difference when she left here this morning. She chose to wait 24 hours. She didn't want to make her buying decision on the spot, because her husband told her, she's going to want to sell you everything. And she said, yeah, I know, but I want to just go check it out. So she chose to, she's a real estate agent, and she was going to go work today for the day, and she wanted to see how the products worked for her throughout the entire day, and if they really were as great as I said they were. And of course they are, so I know I'm going to hear from her yet tonight or tomorrow to get that skincare system. So sometimes they want to see how it works compared to what they have. So and they always sell themselves on it. And by doing the half face thing during the Mary Kay party, pretty much you don't have to sell the products sell themselves. So make sure, just like we talked about last week, how you use all the steps of the skincare on the right side and just cleanser and foundation on the left side. And I just have them do foundation like around, like in a little bit in the cheek area. And I'll just say, not the whole left side. So they cleanse all over, and then they do a test area of the foundation. And then, and this side looks beautiful. And then I say, okay, so what do you notice? And then I just wait, and they, wow, wow. That's what the girl said today. Wow, I can't believe the difference. And I said, right? She's like, yeah, right. So I said, go ahead and start with that. So she wiped it all, or finished that. So she wiped off the left side and caught that other side up really fast. And it really was fast. So that's probably the best thing that you can do. Let them sell themselves on the skincare. And that's what she did today. Still waiting to see what the jury, what her final decision is for what she's going to purchase. So those are some of the common buying objections. So if you have any other objections or concerns that you're typically getting on a regular basis, be sure to put it in the chat on the chat window on the right. Make sure you ask me those questions. I'm going to make sure that my question answer set thing is on. Yes, it is. And their Q&A thing is on. So if you have anything, oh, and Betsy says everything's working great. Yay! Woohoo! So if you have any comments, make sure that you give me give me your questions on the right side there. Okay, so as a matter of fact, not only is this webcam, like, I'm glad the sound is working, but when I saw the video, I went, oh my gosh, and I went and touched up my makeup because it's high def compared to my other one. So yeah, it definitely shows a lot more. All right, so objections. Again, it comes back to knowing what you have. So important to know what you have and why you're offering it, and what's the benefit. When you know what you have and you know what it does for them and why you're passionate about it, it's just absolutely critical. Make sure you sure you're just really in touch with that. Before she walked in today, I was praying. I really was. I wanted great results, but more than that, I wanted to just be able to connect with her. I wanted to be able to make a difference for her, and I hope that I have, so we'll see. Okay, so booking objections. So then all throughout the party, then you're talking to them about the follow-up, and how much fun we're going to have, and she gets to bring friends, and how much fun that's going to be. And so again, you know what you're offering and why it's exciting. The girl that I just booked, Nikki, I was talking about earlier, I booked her for Saturday, July 9th, I think was the date. When I booked her, I was so excited because then I was able to say, and you can have up to 5 or 6 friends there. We can get you some free products. And she's like, oh yeah, that'll be fun. So I'm really excited about that. I know the value of what I have that I'm offering for her. I know what I'm doing for her, what I'm giving to her. Know what you have and feel good about it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the recruiting appointment, the sharing appointment. Since I've did the outline for you guys, and I shared it last week, I've done a couple of makeovers, and at the beginning of the Mary Kay party, I kind of summarize. I go through those what sets Mary Kay apart, why are we different, and then I will just say, you know what, and I know, and it's right in my notes, so I want you to put it in your book if you haven't already done that. By the way, give me some feedback. Who's already done their assignment from last week? Did you do your notes? Did you write your notes in your book? But I've written it in my book in my notes that one of the things that I do is after I'm reading the What Sets Mary Kay Apart, I'm going to say to them, so now that you know what my mission is and what I'm excited about, if you choose to be a partner with me in building my Mary Kay business, I'm going to tell you these are 3 quick ways that you can partner with me. You can purchase from me, you can book, and you can hear about what the business has to offer. And this girl that came today is new and excited and like all completely sold out for real estate. She's been in the business about 9 months. And I said to her, you know, I think that you're probably kind of sold out for real estate. And she said yes. And I don't know why my camera kind of moves like that by itself, but it does. I'm up here, camera. I don't know why it does this. Okay. when she said yes, she is kind of sold out for real estate, and I said that's great, but you know what, I really would love to tell you about what the business has to offer, because then you could be a talent scout for me and help me find people that you think would be good. And she said she would listen. We don't have that scheduled yet. I'm waiting for her to make her purchase, because that's like the order. Selling, I'm going to sell to her first, then I'm going to book her, and then I'm going to set up the sharing appointment. I could have booked her today, and I could have also scheduled the sharing appointment, but she hasn't purchased yet. And my concern is, if I would have scheduled her for a party and gone through all the coaching, she may have said, you know what, I'll just wait till that party to buy anything. And then at the party, if the party, possibly didn't happen, sometimes you get postponements. So then they go, I'm not going to do the party, and now I changed my mind, I don't want the product. So that's happened to me enough times that I'm not going to book somebody before I sell to them. So that's why I'm waiting for the follow-up. I'm going to get that sale first, and then I will book her, and then I'll schedule the sharing appointment. And the same thing, I wouldn't have scheduled the sharing appointment first, because what if I would have gone to that sharing appointment and she said, no, I don't want to be a Mary Kay consultant, and no, I don't want to purchase, and no, I don't want to book. So, and that's happened to me before too. Following in the proper order is absolutely super, super important. So, sharing then, number one, the number one thing with scheduling sharing, or with sharing the business and the opportunity of the career, is to get the appointment. Your first order of business with sharing the information is to just get in front of them. And so sometimes we have to be a little bit vulnerable. We're going to share from our heart, just to say, you know what, you are exactly the type of person that I have prayed for. You're the type of person that I've looked for in the business, and I would love to get your opinion. Would you be willing to listen and just hear what the business has to offer, to give me your honest opinion? And when you say from that perspective of, I really like you, would you be willing to listen and just help me with my training and tell me what you think about the business? Now, when you're that heartfelt with people, most of the time they're going to say yes. Most of the time they will. Sometimes they'll still say no for whatever reason, and so I used to think, well, then they're off my list. but that's not necessarily true either. Stick with them, work with them, try to work through those concerns. If they say, I just really don't want to do it, then you say, it's okay, I really just need the practice. I'll buy you a cup of coffee. You can tell me if I do a good job. It would really help me. Is there any reason why you wouldn't be willing to just help me with my training? Then again, a lot of times people will be willing at that point to follow through, and they'll say yes, that they'll do it. And if not, that's okay. Maybe you can invite them to go with you to a Mary Kay meeting. Maybe they can hear the information that way. But sometimes or they may just have a situation going on in their life that you're going to need to develop that rapport with him, just like I have with Nikki. She and I had first talked about the business over a year ago. She was just graduating from college, and then she was planning a wedding. She got married last fall. I think it was in October, and then she was sick for a while, had her gallbladder out. I mean, just like life's been rough on her for the last year. But because I'm connected with her through Facebook, I kind of have still been able to stay connected with her and follow through, and I can be heart to heart with her. So connect with people on a heart level. If there's somebody that you like, then it may take some follow-up. You might need to do a lot of follow-up before they're going to finally say yes, that they want to do it. Really important. Just because it's a no for now doesn't mean it's a no forever. I'm in this business forever. So I know that if I like him, I'm going to keep working with him as a customer, a hostess, and maybe someday as a team member. So that's the perspective. Maybe that will help you just to kind of understand that when you like a client, you're going to work with her to help her get the best customer service, the best products that we have, of course, whatever she needs. So you help her with the best products. You help her be a hostess. Pardon me. Help her be a hostess and get free products, and then help her to know what the business has to offer. Because if it's not for her, if she understands who you are and what your commitment is and what you're passionate about with the business, again, if she understands that this is a purpose-driven, mission-driven business, that it absolutely comes from a standpoint of you wanting to make a difference in the lives of other women, she's going to be the person that'll put you in touch with other women. My niece Jenny is highly allergic to like just about everything on the planet, food and makeup included. And she said even a professional makeup artist, she does wedding makeup on a professional basis, like she does makeup like to the stars kind of makeup. So she doesn't use a lot of Mary Kay, hardly anything, and she can't use it herself. But she's the one who referred me to Sharon, who then bought $300 worth of products just over the last couple of days, because Jenny knows that I really love what I do and I focus on doing a great job for the women that God places in front of me. So when you have that level of a standard of excellence, you're going to get referrals. So same thing with building a team. Some of the objections that you're going to get when you're going through that, so you'll use the recruiting notebook. If you don't have that printed off yet, print it off. It's on the Dropbox. Print it off. Put it in your in a clear page binder so that you can flip through the pages. You're going to read the notebook when you do the sharing appointment. The best tip though that I can give you with regard to this is get yourself a spiral notebook, just a plain old spiral notebook that you can keep track of those sharing appointments, and date it at the top whenever you're meeting with the person, and put their phone number on the page. Even if you already have their number saved in your phone, write the number down on the page, that their name, the date that you're meeting with them, and their phone number. And then every single time you do another sharing appointment, like get one 70-page recruiting notebook, or one 70-page spiral notebook. I mean, just a plain old spiral like this. And then get one though that's like 70 pages, whatever they call those things. It's like these things that they use for school. One single subject notebook, that's what they're called. And then at the top of each page, when you are meeting with a client to tell them the information about the business, then you write their information at the top. And then this isn't that book of mine, but you write their information at the top, and on the first page of the recruiting notebook, there are 13 questions that you ask, or 12, I think. And you're going to write there, as you ask their questions, the questions, then you write their answers down on the page. And then every time you do a sharing appointment, you just flip to a new page in the book, and you write all their answers in the book. So you'll have a constant record of everybody that you've shared with over 1 month, 2 month, 3 month period of time, however long it takes you to fill a 70-page notebook. So that's kind of fun. 70 in the front and the back of each page is 140. So that's kind of exciting to think about sharing the business with 140 people, huh? If 1 out of every 5 signs up, that's like 30 new team members. That's kind of fun. That's like a whole unit. Hey, that's just kind of coming to me right now. If you get a 70-page recruiting notebook or sharing spiral, and then do a new interview on the front and the back, by the time you fill up your spiral, front and back of every page, you should be a director. That's exciting. I'm going to start teaching that now. Since I just figured that out right now. I just had an aha moment right now. How do you like that? Okay, so keep track though. When you're going through, as you're asking them the questions in the beginning of the notebook, you're asking them all the questions, you're writing down all of their answers. This is really important. You're listening. You're listening. Now, when I'm doing interviews, there's 2 reasons that I'm writing all their answers down. Number 1, so I don't talk. Because I know that if I have to write, I can't talk and write typically at the same time. So make sure that you write them all down, because that helps you to be more zoned in and focused on her. That's the first thing. Second thing, I can go back to my notebook and look at people that I talked with even, last month. And I think, now who was that? Or last year for sure. I don't remember those people. If they didn't sign up, sometimes I just don't remember who that was, especially because I use my notebook to do sharing appointments, not only just for myself, but for all of you guys. So when I'm doing my sharing of the 3-way calls, or these, if we do Google Hangout calls, I'll be taking notes, and that's why, because I haven't met your clients, so I don't remember who they are or what their situation is. I need the notebook to help me remember all of those details. So write it down. That's really, really critical. Okay, so you're going to be going through and you'll be asking them all the questions throughout. You're going to be getting to know them. In the early phases, as you're writing those things down, you're kind of formulating a plan. Like, okay, what is it about Mary Kay? What is it about what we have to offer that really is going to appeal to her? Is she a mom that is looking for a stay-at-home, like does she want to be able to be at home with her kids? Does she want extra money? Is she already home with her kids and she needs adult time? Does she need to get out of her house? What is it about what we have to offer that really is going to appeal to her? Maybe she's looking for a career where she can be appreciated for who she is. Whatever it is, you're just thinking about it and you're formulating it. You're kind of coming up with a plan as you're going through those first few questions. And then as you get through, when you're going through the information, you're telling her about the business, about the career opportunity. Then that's when those thoughts of the things that you thought in the beginning, like, oh my gosh, she would so love seminar because she's prize motivated and she loves a party. So then when you come to that point in your book, maybe you've got a couple of snapshots of other Mary Kay consultants and you have some pictures from seminar. That's when you're going to tell her what a great party seminar is. So in the beginning, you're gathering information, and then when you're going through the book, you're going to be asking for feedback as you're going through the book, but you'll also be throwing out and really personalizing that sharing appointment as you're going through it. It's really important to do it in that way because in the beginning, you're going to be listening, and really finding out who she is. And then as you go through, that's when you share, because this is the tendency that we as women, we just love to share. We love, oh my gosh, okay, you got to hear this, and you know, it can take 45 minutes just to get through the first questions because she says something and I go, oh my gosh, you got to hear about, and then you tell her about something, and then it takes like 2 hours to do a sharing appointment. That's not what you want to do. She will, no. You don't want to spend 2 hours, and she doesn't either. So quickly ask her the questions and keep your comments to an absolute minimum during the beginning. Then you briefly tell her about you, always stressing your passion. What is it you're passionate about? And typically you want to include flexibility and money are the two reasons of why most women really love a Mary Kay business. So that's kind of universal. And if her situation doesn't really what she's looking for, so let's say she is a 60-year-old grandma that is looking for 1 or 2 nights of the month that she wants to do a Mary Kay party to get out of her house and have girlfriend time. And you're a college student. So you're in completely different phases of your life. And you're a college student who needs $1,000 extra per week cash flow to be able to pay for your tuition. You are in a completely different phase of life than she is. So when you're getting to know her, then you're going to also want to be kind of thinking about, who do I know in Mary Kay that's like that? Oh my gosh, you're just like my friend Christy. She is such a neat lady. She was a nurse and now she's retired from nursing because she just wants to be the coolest grandma on the block, and she loves her Mary Kay business because it's really helped her just to be more confident and speak more confidently and just really get in touch with who she is. And she offers this amazing pampering to women, and I can't wait for you to meet her because you're just like her. You guys will just really get along so well. So you say that to her, and it's all true, especially if you've met Christy, you know who I'm talking about. So you're going to want to say that to her and really connect with her through other Mary Kay consultants' stories. If your story doesn't connect with her, if you're in a completely different phase of life, then connect her heart to heart to some of the other Mary Kay women that you know. So then you go all the way through the notebook, get to the very end, and you're, again, just reading. You go all the way through the last questions, and one of the last questions is, so what do you think? Is this something that you think you might like to try? And it's really, really important. You must ask that question. I can't remember how many appointments I did as a newer consultant that I would just tell them all about how great Mary Kay was, and I'd go, so? And they'd go, yeah, And I'd go, okay, let me know if you change your mind. So what? I never asked. I didn't ask. So what do you think? Is this something that you think you might like to try? And ask it from the heart. When I was new, for whatever reason, I had this, like this thing in my throat, almost like I had this blockage in my airway. I'd go, I would just choke. The words wouldn't come out. So I had to learn. This is what I did. So like overcoming objections in general for booking, for selling, and for team building. And this question. So what do you think? Is this something that you think you'd like to try? I wrote those things on a 3x5 card. And I was still working as a nurse at the hospital at the University of Iowa in Iowa City. I had those things written on a note card, and at night when I would walk to and from the lab or to and from the pharmacy, it was a huge, huge hospital. It was like multi-complex, like 5 buildings or 8 buildings all connected by tunnels and hallways. And I worked at one end, and the pharmacy and the blood bank were like a quarter of a mile away, one way, that I had to walk. Sounds like an old time, like uphill both ways in a snowstorm kind of story, but it really was a far long ways away that I'd have to walk if I had to go get a unit of blood or a special thing from the pharmacy, whatever. I had those things in my pocket, and there was nobody in the hallways there, and I would actually pull them out, and I was rehearsing. I was practicing. So what do you think? Is this something that you think you might like to try? And I would go through the correct booking approach. At every party I do, I always choose a couple people that I'd most like to have as my future hostess. And today I've chosen you. Is there any reason why at your follow-up you wouldn't want to share it with a couple friends? I think you'd be amazing. What's better for you, Tuesdays or Thursdays? So, I practice so that the words could just come out. They would just flow out. So what are you thinking you'd like to take home with you? Would you like set 1, 2, or 3? And then you just be quiet and listen and wait for their answer. And whatever they say, that's what you're, then they may say, well, I just really need to think about that, or I need to check my budget. I'm like, great, so what's a good time for me to get back to you? Or what are you comfortable to take home with you today? Or if that's more than what you're comfortable with, what would you be comfortable with? Get to the point so that you are constantly in the mindset of, when they say this, I say this. When they say this, I say this. When they say that, you say that. And it's not from a sparring or a competition kind of perspective. It's from a perspective of that you are going to embrace the idea that they really truly are saying to you, I would like to do that, however, this. So your job is to help them with the however. Your job is to help them through whatever it is that's stopping them. If they're stuck on it, help them through that point. So those are just kind of, it always, always, always comes back to attitude. Every single time comes back to attitude. So make sure you're understanding why are you in the business? What are you going to get out of it? What's your purpose? What's your perspective? What are you going to gain? Where are you headed? What's your mission? Understand that. And then when you get stuck in maybe sometimes the words get stuck. It's okay. Then you're going to go, oops, and next, and you say it better and do it better next time. So your assignment today is to review these things. Review the overcoming objections. Check it out on the Silver Wings program. One thing that we didn't really talk about tonight, and I was going to mention, so I want to wrap with this, is the coaching. Make sure that once you've booked the Mary Kay parties, that you coach them really, really well. If you don't take time to coach the party, then it's kind of a waste of time to book it. And I used to think, well, that's bothering them and I'm telling them what to do. No, I'm teaching them what to do because they sincerely want to do a good job for you. So they not only for you, but they really are partnering with you. So when we talked about earlier how your customer is partnering with you, and there's ways that she can partner. She can purchase from you. She can share with the business, like share you with her friends. Well, she really is partnering with you. She's sharing you with her friends. She wants to do a good job for you. You want to do a good job for her. So teach her what that means and how to do that. So what that would mean would be you go through the coaching sheet. and teach her how to get her $100 shopping spree. But the biggest thing and most important thing with coaching a party well is teaching her to invite 15 to 20 people minimum. Like really choose the people that she wants to be there and then invite at least that many minimum and then follow up, follow up, follow up to make sure that they get there. I like to set my parties up as Facebook events, and then I invite the hostess and then she invites other people. It's a really great, simple, easy way to get massive invites out to people and get a lot of feedback from a lot of people. I had a party about 6 months or maybe, no, it was about a year ago now with she's now a team member of mine, which is really kind of exciting. But I had it set up and she said, she invited 150 people on Facebook. And she said, I don't think anybody's coming, just my mom and my friend. And I'm like, okay, cool. And she's like, can we come early? And I said, sure. So they showed up and it was 6:30. We had gotten the trays all full and we were about to start. The party was supposed to start at 6:30. And then pretty soon my doorbell rang 2 more times and 2 more people came in that she did not know were coming. And the 2 of them bought over $400 worth of products. And they only came because she had previously invited 150 people on Facebook. So that's a really just a great example of how important it is to set that Facebook invite. You set it up and you invite her and then allow her to invite other people. And that's a really easy way for her to get lots of invites out. And then Dana actually did follow up and follow through and became one of my team members. And partially she did that because she had a couple of really great clients that were already using the skincare. So I was able to give her back all of those clients. So there you go. I want you to review the objections. That's so key. Just to get comfortable with the business and then jump on the phone and just start calling people. Start talking to people. Really make great things happen with the business because I know you have it in you.